Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about the properties of parallelograms. You did this on Friday also, but first we're going to figure out the warm-up real quick. So let's start with number 1. So remember all these exterior angles right here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All these 6 angles, they all add up to 360 degrees. So we're going to add them together. So we're going to add up all the x's. You have 3 x's here and 4x's here, and that's it. So add up 3x plus 4x. Okay, good. That's 7x. And then we're going to add up the other numbers. So add up 46 plus 62 plus 47 plus 93. What is all of that? Then we just solve it. So you subtract 248. I subtract 248 from both sides. Go ahead and do that. Okay, do the last step. Divide by 7. And what do you get? Okay, you should have gotten x equals 16. So now let's find out what this is. So 3 times 16. What is that? And then 4 times 16. What is that? Take a second to do that. Okay, so this should have been 48 degrees. And then this angle, 4 times 16, is 64. So go ahead and add all these up. Let's make sure it's correct. You got to add 64 plus 47 degrees plus 93 degrees plus 46 degrees plus 48 degrees plus 62 degrees. Yep, it equals 360. So if you add it up, I just did it because I like to check my work. So you add up all these exterior. See how they're on the outside of the figure? Right? You add up all these. They should always equal 360 degrees. And they did. I added them up and they all equal 360. So this one's correct. Now look at this number 2. These are on the inside. These are interior. It's different. See how this is on the outside? It's not on the inside. It's on the outside. These are the interior angles right here. These are the interior. These are on the outside. These are on the inside. There's a big difference. The inside angles, the sum of the interior angles, that's always different depending on the size of your triangle. Of your figure. The only figure that we have memorized is a triangle. A triangle, the interior angles of a triangle always add up to 180 degrees. 180 degrees. All of these 3 angles will add up to 180 degrees. But this is not a triangle, so I have to see how many triangles are in this figure. The way you count how many triangles are in there is you count the number of sides. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this figure has 5 sides. So my formula is the number of sides. So the number of sides minus 2 times 180, because that gives me how many triangles there are. And then I multiply that times 180. 180. So I have 5 sides. So 5 minus 2. So 5 minus 2 is 3. So 3 times 180, because that means that there's 3 triangles. Okay. Remember we did this the first day last week. We did this. We made triangles. We pick a point and draw your diagonal. So this made 1, 2, 3. So 180. 180 plus 180. Hence 3 times 180. So go ahead and do that. What's 3 times 180? 540. Very good. So 540. So all these angles right here, 5x plus 139. We got too much stuff up there. Hold on a second. So it should be 540 or 540. Sorry, 540. All right. So when I add up 92 plus 5x plus 139 plus 9x plus 71, that should equal 540 degrees. So let's go ahead and add them up. So I don't like to write them all down, because sometimes I make a mistake writing them down. So I'm just going to add them up here. I'm going to add up 5x. Any more x's? Right here, 9. So I got 5 x's and 9 x's. So 9 plus 5 is what? Yep, 14. So I have 14 x's. So I'm going to write 14 x's. Okay, sorry, I'm not sure what happened, but I was kicked out, and so now I'm going back in. So let's start over real quick. We already got 540. If this is a video, so you can rewind to see how we got 540 and pause it. Please pause it. So whenever you need to. So I'm going to add all my x's. So I have 5 x's here and 9 x's here. So that gives me 14 x's. So I'm going to put 14x. Now I'm going to add up the other numbers. So I have 92. So 92. So let's see, 92. I'm going to put them in blue. 92 plus 139 plus 71. Can you guys add that? So 92 plus 139 plus 71. That gives me 302. So plus 302, 302. There we go. And now I draw a line down the equal sign and I solve it. Go ahead and solve it. Subtract 302 from both sides and then divide, right? Go ahead and do that real quick. Let me give you a minute. Okay, good. So you subtract 302 from both sides, right? Minus 302, minus 302. You should have gotten 328. So 14x equals 328, and then you just divide. 238, sorry, 238, and then divide by 14, and write your answer down on your notes, what you should have gotten. Good, x equals 17. So x is 17. So then go ahead right here. What's 5 times 17? This is 5 times x. So 5 times 17, that should give me, good, 85, right? So this is 85 degrees. And let's go ahead and do this one over here. 9 times 17, so 9 times 17 should give you 153 degrees. Now add up all of those. You're going to add up, let me pick a color here, yellow. You're going to add up 71 plus 92 plus 85 plus 139 plus 153. They should all add up to 540. Okay, go ahead and do that real quick. Pause my video so you can work. Yes, they equaled 540, and that's what a 5-sided figure should equal. A pentagon should equal 540 degrees. The sum of the interior angles. All right, let's go to number 3. Okay, so I wasn't here Friday, and I know Mr. Trent and Ms. S worked with you on this. So, and put this on notes on this on Friday. But if you don't remember this, okay, properties of parallelograms. Look at the word parallelograms. Parallel, see the word parallel? That means that there are things that are parallel. Opposite sides are parallel. So those are parallel, and they are congruent. So if these sides are congruent and parallel, that means that these sides are also congruent, and they're also parallel. The arrow symbol is a symbol for parallel lines. So these are parallel. Remember, we've done that before. Those are parallel. So, and then they said that opposite angles are congruent. Okay, that was one of the things you learned on Friday. So angle A is opposite from angle C. There are opposite sides of, see that? Opposite corners. So they are congruent. So angle A is congruent to angle C, and angle B is congruent to angle D. Oops, let me put my symbol for angle, sorry. Angle, and this angle B is congruent to angle D. See, they're opposite each other. So B and D. So I want to mark them with 2 little marks here. Okay, 2 little angle marks. So angle B and angle D are congruent. Okay, and then another thing about the angles is that their consecutive angles are supplementary. So supplementary consecutive angles add up to 180. So that consecutive means right next to. So the one right next to angle A, the one that comes after is angle D. So the measure of angle A, that's M for measure of angle A, plus the measure of angle B, D, like in door, the measure of angle D, it equals 180. Also, who else comes after A? B. So angle A, the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B. So the measure, this little m, stands for measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B also equals 180. Okay, now let's try C. So which angle comes right is consecutive angle C? Or angle B. So B plus C. So the measure of angle B plus the measure of angle C also equals 180. And then C and D are also complementary angles. I mean consecutive, sorry. C and D are also consecutive angles. They're supplement because they equal 180. So the measure of angle C plus the measure of angle D equals 180. So you guys, if you don't understand that, please let me know. See how C is right here, angle C. The one right next to it is angle D. So these two added together equal 180. And also B and C, these two angles add up to 180. All right, another thing we learned, you learned that on Friday. So another thing we learned is about opposite sides. Opposite sides are congruent. So we already talked about that. Look at this, BC is congruent to AD. So side BC is congruent to side AD. And so these two are congruent, and because they are congruent in parallel, then these two must also be congruent in parallel. So AB, side AB is congruent to side CD. All right. Another thing you guys should have talked about yesterday was that the diagonals, so go ahead and draw these diagonals. The diagonals bisect each other. So like if this one is 5 inches, then this one is going to be 5. They get cut right down the middle right here. And if this is 12 centimeters, then this side, this diagonal right here, this piece, sorry, is going to be 12 centimeters. So the whole diagonal is 24. But right here, they intersect. They bisect each other. So they cut each other into 2 equal pieces. All right, so go ahead and press pause if you need to. We're going to go on to the next part. Rewind if you didn't understand it also. Okay, so this is part 2 of parallelograms. So day 2 of parallelograms. So we're going to start off with this example right here. Remember, consecutive angles. So this angle and this angle, they're right next to each other. So they have to add up to 180 degrees. So right, see how they're right next to each other? Angle A and angle D have to add up to 180. Angle A and B have to add, the ones right next to each other, they are supplementary angles, so they will add up to 180. So you just write the equation. So go ahead and write it. Just write x plus 2x minus 45 equals 180. Then solve it. Okay, so I have x plus 2x minus 45. So I have this x right here, this angle, angle A, plus angle D, 2x minus 45 equals 180. So now you draw a line down the equal sign and solve it. So add your x's. I got 1x and 2x, so that makes 3x minus 45 equals 180, right? And so you solve it. Right, we do these the same way. Go ahead and try it, and then I'll put it up here. Okay, so you should have gotten 3x equals 225, and now we just divide by 3, and see what you get. So then x equals 75, so this angle is 75 degrees, and this angle is 2 times 75 minus 45. So what's that? What's 2 times 75 minus 45? Okay, you should have gotten 105. So now let's see, these two have to add up to make 180. So 75 plus 105, does that equal 180? Let's check. 105 plus 75. Yep, it's 180 on my calculator. So we did this correct. Good, let's do the next example. You can press pause at any time in this video if you need to, okay? All right, so this is the same. These two angles, remember, they are not opposite. Opposite angles are the same. These two are consecutive. So that means they add up to 180. Very good. So let's write the equation. Just put whatever's here without the parentheses plus this will give me 180. Go ahead and do that. Okay, great. So we are going to solve this. We're going to, you should have written 4x plus 18, which is this part here, plus 2x minus 6, which is this angle here, equals 180. So add 4x plus 2x gives me 6x. And 18 minus 6, 18 minus 6, go ahead and figure that out. Okay, you should have gotten 12 equals 180. Now these steps are always the same, so take notes so you can look at it when you do your assignment. Minus 12 on both sides, right? Minus 12 on both sides. And then you're going to divide by 6. So go ahead and solve that. Okay, then we divide by 6. So x equals, what's 168 divided by 6? Good, 28. So x equals 28. That's just x. So now I have to go back up here and find the angles. So 4 times 28 plus 18. So what is 4 times 28 plus 18? Put it on pause so you can do it. 4 times 28 plus 18 is 130. So this angle right here is 130 degrees. 130 degrees is this angle right here. Well, let's look at this angle. 2 times 28 minus 6. Go ahead and do that. 2 times 28 minus 6 is 50 degrees. So this angle right here is 50 degrees. So 130 plus 50, does that give me 180? Because this, whatever angle n is, which is 130, plus whatever angle k is, which is 50 degrees, has to equal 180. And it does. 130 plus 50 is 180. So we did this correct. Good job. Let's go on to the next. Okay, so now this one, we are not talking about angles. Now we're talking about segments. See how this is AB? So the side AB is 4 parentheses x plus 3. So that's what this side is. So I'm going to write it there. And side, we're not going to do this one. And we're not going to do this one here. So you could cross yours out. We're just doing these two sides. So DC is equal to 12 times quantity x minus 5. So, okay. So we write them down. So I know that this side is the same as this side. They are congruent and they're also parallel. So I'm going to put an equal side between them because they are equal. So I'm going to write it down. I'm going to write 4 parentheses x plus 3. So you guys write that down. Equals 12 parentheses x minus 5 parentheses. Go ahead and write that down and let's try to solve. Okay, so we're going to multiply 4 times x and then 4 times 3. So 4 times x is 4x. And then 4 times 3 is 12. So 4x plus 12. Equals, now I'm going to do the other side, 12 times x is 12x. That's just the distributive property. And then 12 times 5, negative 5, right, is 60. Okay, now I want to see where I want my x's to go to. A lot of people just say to make them to the left, so we can just take them to the left. It doesn't really matter.
Your message, press 1.
It doesn't really matter. So it's 4x plus 12. So I'm going to subtract 12x. I'm going to move the 12x to the other side, right? There's different ways to do this. So, but we come up with the same answer at the end. So you could do it a different way if you want to. So 4x minus 12 is 8x, negative 8x, right? Negative 8x. And I'm just going to recopy everything. Plus 12. Equals, this is gone because 12 minus 12 is 0. So I'm going to put negative 60 because there's a negative. The minus becomes a negative. So now I'm going to move my 12 to the other side. Let me change color. Minus 12 because I only want the x's on this side. So minus 12. So negative 60 minus 12. Both signs are negative, so you're going to add. So that's 72, negative 72. Equals negative 8. So now I'm going to divide, right? My last step is to divide. Hope I have 8x. This is gone. So I bring that down. Negative 8. This is an 8x. That's an 8. Then I'm going to divide by negative 8. Negative, negative, 8, 8. Those. So I'm left with x equals, I'm going to divide on this side by negative 8. So negative divided by negative is a positive, and 72 divided by 8 is 9. So my answer is 9. X equals 9. Now I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to put the 9 into my equation. So 9, or into my expression, sorry. So 9 right here. So 9 plus 3 is 12. So let's see, 4 times 12 is 48. So then this is 48 centimeters. We'll just say centimeters. Okay, so x equals 9 again. So I'm going to put 9 right here. So 9 minus 5 is 4. So I have 12 times 4. It's the same, it's 48. So this answer is 48 also. So this length of CD is also 48 centimeters, which it should be because they are congruent, because it's a parallelogram. All right, let's go on to the next example. You can pause this or rewind if you need more help. All right, so for this one, remember we talked about at the beginning of class that these diagonals are cut in half, so they are congruent. They're made into two equal pieces. So it says here that BE is 6y minus 22, so BE is 6y minus 22. And DE, so DE is 4y minus 4. And we know that they are, and we're not going to do these x's because there's not enough space. So if you want to do it for extra credit, you can. So, and they're the same way. They are congruent. So this BE is exactly the same size as ED. They are exactly the same. So I'm going to put the equal sign between them. So I write 6y minus 22. And that's one of the properties, right? The properties of a parallelogram, that they bisect each other. Bisect means to cut into two equal parts. So I'm going to put them equal to each other, and then we solve them again. So we're going to go ahead and move the the y's to the left. So I'm going to minus 4y. You can go ahead and pause and work it out on your own if you want to. So 6y minus 4y is 2y. So I'm going to write 2y minus 22 equals negative 4. Okay, now I have to move the 22 over because I want to get y's by itself. So I'm going to add 22 because it's a minus 22, so I'm going to plus 22. Please be pausing this. That way you can work it out because I want you to practice. I already know how to work it out. I'm just showing you the steps for you to do it first and then to look to see if you did it correctly. So pause it. So I have negative 4 plus 22. So we should get 18. Then the last step is to divide by 2. So, and the reason I got 18 is because I have a negative 4 and a positive 22. If the signs are different, you subtract. So 22 minus 4 is 18. I have more positives because I have 22 positives, 4 negatives. So I have more positives, so my answer is positive. So 18 divided by 2 is 9. So my answer is 9. So y equals 9. So right here I'm going to put 9. So 6 times 9 minus 22. Go ahead and do that. 6 times 9 minus 22. That should give me 32. So this is 32 centimeters up here. So this one should also be 32, but we're going to do it so we can check our work. So this is 4 times 9 minus 4. So what's 4 times 9 is 36. Minus 4 is 32. Very good. So this one's 32 also. 32 centimeters. Okay. So you can rewind this video as many times as you need to. But for your assignment, this is what is due. You don't have to do the whole back page. If you do, it's extra credit. But you need to do number 5, number 6, number 7. So number 5, 6, and 7 must be done. This goes with this angle, and this over here goes with this angle V. Okay, number 8, number 9, and number 10. And then these 3 are extra, and then you have to do number 14 and 15. Okay, so number 14 and number 15. All right, so go ahead and start on that. And you can email me your answers, okay? But this is a grade, so make sure that you work on this. On the bottom of here are some answer choices, so your answers should be in here. Okay? All right, thank you. Okay, guys, rewatch this as many times as you need to, okay? All right, bye. Please come to my Zoom during FX if you need help.